Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fisher Fitness Coaching Podcast. This is episode 37. Yeah, 37. How are you all doing? Hope you're good. Thank you for listening, as per usual. Means a lot. Today, what have I been up to? Do you care what I've been up to? I guess some of you might do. I don't do much. I don't actually do a lot. I do a lot of work. I had a chat with a new client this morning, which is cool. I had a client as well in the gym. So this is someone who I've been training for years now, since about 2017. So yeah, I see her twice a week in the gym. Just go through some basic strength stuff. So that was it. And then I met my mum, my sister, and my niece and my brother for a coffee. Had a catch up with them. Bit of shopping, and now I'm back, and now I'm here doing this. So yeah, as if it's been 37 episodes. I've done an episode every week for the last 37 weeks, and I did say to myself, my aim is to do 50. How many weeks in a year? 52. Yeah, 52 episodes. So I'm getting there, but I'll be honest, I am running out of subjects. I'm running out of things to talk about, which is why this episode is going to be a slightly different. You may be pleased to hear. It's going to be a bit more personal, a bit deeper. So it won't be necessarily a educational podcast about fat loss, muscle growth. It's going to be a bit about me, a bit more about me, and something I struggle with. So yeah, I just thought I'd talk about it, just because I've never really mentioned it before. Haven't really. I think I've spoken to a few people about it, but not much. This is more something I am dealing with or battling with, I suppose. And I kind of want to. I don't know. I'm interested to see or find out if any of you, if you're listening, if you can relate to it, or if you know anyone who knows much about it. I don't know much about it, but yeah, I think I've just sort of blocked it out. It's not something I've really thought about much in terms of what it is I'm suffering from. But if I've looked at all the symptoms, I've looked at what, yeah, I've sort of looked at what people think, and I think, yeah, it's not been diagnosed from a professional, but I'm pretty sure I do suffer from it. And yeah, and I guess I want to think about and talk about like where I think it's come from, and how this industry is affecting it. So it's something called body dysmorphia, and there are sort of two types, and I believe I suffer from muscle dysmorphia, so MD. Um, the reason I believe I do, it's just, yeah, I think I do overly obsess with how I look, um, especially not being big enough or muscular enough, or I definitely over obsess about looking a certain way, which may surprise you because I'm a coach in the industry, so I should have everything sort of, well, have my shit together, I suppose, in terms of realizing what my expectations are, what I've achieved, what I can achieve. But this is why I think it makes it so much harder when you are in this industry, and when you are literally surrounded, your life is surrounded and consumed with fitness and training muscle, looking a certain way. When like, especially when I do posts and stuff, I've had comments, people posting comments about how I look, and it's happened. It's happened not only through social media, but also with um, back in the day, like years ago. I've had comments on how I look, which I think that's where it stems from. I think so. Yeah, specifically muscle dysmorphia. Basically, I don't think I am big enough. I need to be, so I'm constantly battling this, and it makes sense because I'm constantly battling with myself, thinking I should be bigger, more muscular, look a certain way, and be leaner. So I've got this sort of this perfect figure, or sorry, physique in my head that I want to look like. But because I want to get to that physique, I'm constantly shifting from phases. I'm constantly shifting from trying to build muscle and trying to lose body fat. So I'll give you an example. So right now I've decided again, for the God knows how many times, I've decided to go for a cut again. So I'm in a fat loss phase. I'm dieting, trying to lose body fat because I got to the stage where I didn't like the amount of body fat I had on myself. So my abs were beginning to disappear. I know it sounds stupid when I say it out loud, but my abs were beginning to disappear. I was looking and feeling, I was looking very soft. And yet I have this thing where I pinch my midsection, and if I think there is too much body fat there, then I go into this sort of like, oh shit, I better start losing body fat because I'm getting, and then for me I just start overthinking everything. Like I don't look like a coach. I don't look a certain way. I should be a lot leaner than this. I should be bigger. I should be more muscular. So then it starts sort of eating away at me. So here I am. I'm in a fat loss phase. I lost a couple of pounds recently in this first week, and my aim is to get down to a body fat level where I'm happy with, and then go back into a building phase. And this is my problem, right? And this is why I need a coach. This is why I need a coach to help me, because I know what to do. I know what I should be doing, but I need a coach to keep me on the straight and narrow, to keep me on track. So the issue I have is part of my brain is like, right, I need to get bigger. I need to put on muscle. So then I go into, eating mode where I eat lots of food and my strength goes up. Yes. And my gym performance is amazing. I get a lot stronger in the gym. And, in the gym, you get a good pump and you start to notice, yeah, okay, I think I'm putting on some size. Awesome. This goes on for maybe, 3 months max. And then I start to realize that I'm putting on too much body fat. So then I think, shit, I'm going to have to, I don't look lean, so I'm going to have to go back into a cut. So then I'm constantly going through this sort of cycle of fat loss, muscle growth, fat loss, muscle growth. And no wonder I'm never getting to where I want to be. It's because I'm not putting my focus on the building phase like I should. I know what I should be doing. I should be tracking. I should be making sure that I'm in a small surplus. I should be tracking my workouts, but I'm not. I'm just eating. I go through this again. I go through the phase of just eating a lot of crap food. I do eat my vegetables and my protein and stuff. I eat decent food, but I also eat a lot of, sometimes do eat a lot of shit in the evening as well. So then obviously, the surplus is way too large, so I start to gain body fat. Of course I do. So then and that, like I said, this happens for maybe 2-3 months, and then I think, shit, I should really start to, tune in on my diet and start losing body fat. And then, of course, when I start to lose body fat, then it's very difficult to build muscle, especially for me because I've been doing it for so long. For me, because I'd class myself as an advanced lifter because I've been doing it for so long. I've got no chance of getting any newbie gains. There's no chance of me gaining muscle in a deficit, really. I need to be a lot more focused and in tune with my macros and my calorie intake, all that kind of stuff. So when I'm in a fat loss phase, I track, I make sure everything's good, and I lose fat fairly easily, and I lose it quite comfortably. I'm doing around 2,000 calories per day, 150 grams of protein. It's easy. Like I don't find it hard. What I find hard is going from, and again, like already, I'm looking in the mirror. Let's say in the morning, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm looking at how lean I think I am, and I think, oh shit, I'm looking skinny. I'm looking small, and already my brain is fighting. My head is fighting with myself, not to start going back into a building phase because I think I look skinny. So this is the constant battle I am facing with myself. I don't think I'm big enough, so then I train to build muscle. I eat to build muscle, and then I think I'm not lean enough, so I then go back into a cutting phase, and then I think I look too skinny again, and it's back and forth. It's been like it for God knows how many years. Even yesterday, I was in the gym and I was just looking at myself in the mirror. As you do, you look at yourself, you look at your arms, and I convince myself that I'm skinny. Now, and this is the thing, right? I've convinced myself so much that I don't even think it's an issue, and I just think that I am skinny. Does that make sense? So, even saying this now, I am pretty convinced that people will be like, "Well, you are pretty skinny, Rich. So, what are you worried about?" Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's weird. It's a very, very strange sort of issue. And I speak a lot to a lot of people in the industry, and I've got friends in the industry who I do say, like, am I skinny? Am I? Would you say I was in good shape? And their answer is always like, yeah, you're in really good shape. You're not skinny at all. But that doesn't really help. Like, those of you who do suffer from this will know what it's like. It does not help. Anyone will say you're jacked, you're big, whatever. Once you convince yourself you're in you have this you're in this sort of shape, then it's very difficult to get out of. So I'm currently in this this sort of trap of thinking I'm too skinny, but not lean enough. Do you know? And I have this body shape or this physique in my head that I want to get to, but it's very, very hard to get to it because I'm not in a building phase for long enough, because I don't like the fact I will gain body fat and not look a certain level of leanness. So yeah, that's my situation. So as you can probably tell, it's quite stressful, and because I'm in this industry, you are sort of, for me, you it does, for me it shouldn't, but it does affect your business. So I've had people interested in my coaching before, and they haven't signed up, and they've decided to go with someone else who is blatantly on steroids, who is jacked. They're huge, right? Muscles everywhere, lean, ripped, on steroids. They're jacked, right? They're huge bodybuilders, right? So, it's almost like expected. People go with coaches who are in a certain shape, and that shouldn't be the case, because it's been, time and time again, people say that just because you look a certain way doesn't mean that you don't know more than or less than other people who are in great shape. Do you know what I mean? So I know for a fact that I know a lot more than a lot of coaches out there, and I'm a better coach than a lot of coaches. But those coaches may be in a lot better shape than me. But that still means that people will still rather go with the coaches who look a certain way, because they think that if they look a certain way, then they're going to help me look that way, which is not the case at all. So it's definitely made it more difficult being a coach, because you subconsciously think, oh, I should look a certain way, and the reason I'm not getting loads of business, I mean, I'm doing all right. I'm not, I'm doing okay as an online coach, but I do sometimes think that because I don't look a certain way, I'm not fully booked or I haven't got a waiting list. It's probably rubbish. It's just the fact that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's absolutely fine. And I need to accept that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where it came from. I mean, I I think it's definitely that. It's definitely the fact that this industry, you're sort of consumed with looks, and every way you look on social media, you got these people who are looking a certain way, and you can't help but compare yourself. You can't. Like I can't. I compare myself to other coaches' physiques, and I kind of think, shit, I wish I was like that. Wish I was a bit bigger, a bit more jacked. And that's before you get the comments, right? And there's been several occasions where I've had comments on social media where people, complete strangers, commenting, you're not jacked, or why are you advertising this when you don't look like that? Do you know what I mean? You don't have muscle, blah blah blah. It's like, well, you haven't seen me without my top on, But then those comments still get to you. They still get to me. They kind of think, well, maybe they are right. Maybe I don't. Maybe I shouldn't be a coach. Maybe I'm not supposed to be a coach. That's gone through my head a lot of the time. A lot of times. Maybe I'm just not the right person to be a coach. Maybe I should just sort of, cut my losses and focus on something else. I don't know. So yeah, the comments I get or used to get, I got one recently with some guy saying, well, I put a post up, or a reel, saying the best rep range to build muscle. I think it was that, and then some random stranger just commented something saying, how can you say that when you haven't got any muscle, or something like that, along those lines. I guess, I mean, I'd be lying if I said it didn't get to me. But I'm a lot better now than I used to be. It used to really sort of like wind me up, and I used to get really sort of offended. Not offended? No, not offended. I used to get really down about it and kind of think, oh god, yeah, maybe I need to look a certain way. Da da da. So deep down, I think that does affect how I feel about my body. So it's the comments as well. It's the comments on social media. It's and then you start convincing yourself that other people in the gym are thinking the same thing. It's weird, weird how it works. And then I also blame. There was a time when I did a stupid fitness competition. I mean, it wasn't a fitness competition; it was a physique competition. It was just full of narcissistic twats. And I was one of them. This is when I was in London. I got sort of sucked into that whole industry about physique, bodybuilding sort of thing, and fitness modeling. I got completely sucked into it, and that made things a lot worse because you were constantly, well, I trained to stand on stage in tight shorts with a fake tan. Which, thinking back, like, what the fuck was I doing? It's just not me at all, and I can't really believe I did it. But anyway, that made me, because I trained very, very hard for months, 2 times a day, very strict. Didn't even track, but I just ate hardly anything. Lots of protein, did loads of cardio, lift loads of weights, and I ended up looking really, really good. So because I was in that peak physique, I suppose that was my peak physique. I always compare myself to that. I was very lean. I was very muscular. I was in really decent shape because, because I had a good tan. It was good lighting. I was pumped. I did this whole stupid carb loading thing, which bodybuilders do before they step on stage. So I was in pretty decent shape. But it's not like that's a very small snippet of what you look like and what I looked like. So yeah, that's been sort of ingrained into my brain. Like, I looked a certain way, so I want to look like that again all the time. And I know that's not sustainable. That's never going to happen unless I do decide to step on stage, which I definitely won't, because it's just not healthy, I don't think. And it's just not a nice environment to be in. There's just people just, yeah, it's just not a nice. You don't meet nice people. You just don't. You're just very self-obsessed, narcissistic. That's in my opinion. You yes, you obviously going to meet nice people wherever you go, but most of the people I met, not for me. Not my type of peeps. So I think that's one of the main things, and that's completely my fault. That's down to me. I could have said no. I could have stopped. I could have decided not to. But when you're sort of sucked into it, and I mean, I think Instagram was just then getting quite popular back in 2013. It was, people were really posting on stories. They were, and it was very popular back then. Like, this fitness modeling scene was very popular. The fake tans and the pre-workouts and stuff. It was all very. That's when it started to really get popular on Instagram back in about 10 years ago now. So yeah, before that it wasn't that bad. But then, saying that, and I've been thinking about this quite a lot. I think at first, because I remember when I was a kid, I was God, I don't know how old I was, but I remember I used to think I was fat. Like, when I was, God, I think I must have been like 10, 8, 9, 10. I remember pinching skin around my stomach, asking my mum, "Am I fat?" And this wasn't like a one-off thing. This was, I was convinced I was fat, and I was the most skinniest kid you could ever imagine. So I think that was the first real sort of thing. So this has been, I think, deep rooted for a long, long time. I don't know why I ever thought I was fat, but I did. I remember specifically asking my mum, "Am I fat?" That was the first memory of me having an issue with my body, how I looked. God knows where it came from. And then I remember when I used to live in Scotland. This is when I was about 12. There was a set of dumbbells which were left in the house, and then I used to start doing arm curls with them. I remember just taking them to my room and start doing arm curls because I wanted bigger arms. And this is again when I was very, very young. But yeah, I've always been a very skinny kid. Always been, very scrawny. And then another memory is when I was about 16, 17. I used to get comments. I used to work in a pub. I think I've mentioned this before. Work in a pub, and people used to mention that I was very scrawny. I needed to eat more. I wasn't going to do anything if it all kicked off, because it was quite a rough pub. And yes, on several occasions it did kick off. I did absolutely nothing. I couldn't do anything because I was a skinny little runt. One occasion the pub was firebombed when I was behind the bar. Someone threw a petrol bomb into the pub. I mean, what could I do in that situation? And then several other occasions when big men were kicking the shit out of each other, massive pub fights. Then there's little me just cowering behind the bar, not being able to do anything. So, and these comments stemmed from them. Those situations where it was a bit of a laugh. Yes, I did nothing. I couldn't do anything. And then one occasion, I was called scrawny by a mate of mine, and that was the first time. That was the first sort of time when I kind of thought, oh shit, maybe I'm skinny. But then that pushed me to start the gym. I think I was 17, 18 when I first set foot in a gym. I didn't like the fact that I was scrawny. I always thought I was medium, like a medium build, I suppose. And then I started going to the gym, started lifting weights and eating more food and drinking protein shakes and all that kind of stuff. And I started putting on weight, and I put on weight pretty quickly. So I went from I think I was 8.5 stone. So that's 55 kilos, which is nothing for an 18-year-old man. 55 kilos. That's nothing. That's very, very small. And I put on a couple of stone quite quickly. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, fast forward to now, I'm 83 kilos. I'm in pretty good shape, I think. But this is the thing, right? This is the point of the whole conversation. I I think I'm in all right shape. I don't think I'm in amazing shape. I almost need validation from other people to say, yes, you are in great shape. I almost want to, I almost want to. Well, I don't think I'll ever get to a point when I'm happy with my physique, which is quite sad. But then I need to almost accept how I look and accept that I look okay for a 37-year-old man. And I need to understand that there'll be people out there who don't want to look a certain way, don't want to look like a bodybuilder, and they would do anything to look or to be in my shape. I need to understand that. So yeah, that's my sort of that's my deep rooted struggle, I suppose. And I don't know, maybe it's helped in some way, helped someone listening to this. I guess it's just me sort of telling you to sort of let you know that it's not just you. It's fitness professionals have these issues as well, and it's very, very common. I think it's a lot more common than I think. I think a lot of people do suffer from it now, especially because because social media and all these pictures and videos of these perfectly shaped figures, physiques, and the fact that a lot of the time these pictures are photoshopped, they're edited, they're airbrushed to make them look a certain way. So yeah, it's very, very common, and unfortunately, but it's just to tell you that it's not you. If you do suffer from this, if you are someone who can relate to this, then it's not just you. Fitness professionals such as myself also suffer from it, and have done for years. Probably will do for the foreseeable future, unless I get professional help, which I'm not sure you can. I guess you can get like is it CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, CBT. Maybe you can have that for this sort of thing. I don't know, but yeah, it's something I'm working on, but maybe need to work more on. Anyway, so yeah, I think I do need a coach. But it's just not something I want to invest in just yet, because I've invested a lot in my business. So I think having a coach, well, I know having a coach will just help me keep on the right track, and it's so someone can just say, yes, I know you're in a building phase, you should be looking like this, but the fact that you're gaining strength, you're obviously gaining muscle, to stick to it. Let's stick to it for 6 months to 8 months, whatever, and then we can go on to a fat loss phase. Or maybe I need someone just to say, stop focusing so much on your physique and just focus on being happy with how you look, maybe it's that as well. Maybe it's both. I don't know. But anyway, hope this sort of helped. Bit of a different one today. Bit of a deeper podcast. A bit more personal. So yeah, I hope it helped. Got any questions about anything, or got any if you just fancy a chat about it, or if you can relate, let me know. Send me a message on Instagram or anything, or if you know someone who is potentially suffering from it, send this podcast their way. It might just help them understand, and it's not just them. It's other people who may not expect suffer from it are also suffering from it, and it's very common. It's probably a lot more common than you think. Anyway, yeah, I'll leave it there. Cheers, guys. Thanks for listening, and I will speak to you all next week.